Hello and welcome to the Social Media Magic Podcast, the perfect podcast for TPT sellers, teacherpreneurs, and teacher business owners who consider themselves to be introverts. Each episode shares all kinds of ideas, tips, tactics, and strategies to help you make more sales and grow your community on social media. Without further ado, let's get on to today's episode. Well, hello, TPT sellers, teacherpreneurs, and teacher business owners, and welcome to my podcast, Social Media Magic. This podcast is all about helping you master social media marketing as an introvert and without being online all the time, so you can build a thriving and engaged community of buyers who sell out your offers for you while you spend your time doing what it is you really want to do. I show you how to do this with Facebook groups, low-key live launching, and compelling content that converts. Hi, by the way, my name is Brittany Verlenich from Verity Media Marketing. I have a Teachers Pay Teachers store that's just called my name, Brittany Verlenich, and I also have a small budding agency called Verity Media Marketing, where we really focus on helping teacherpreneurs and TPT sellers and other introverted teacher business owners find their voice and build their brand as a thought leader without having to be online all of the time. So basically, we help you get visible and have your content go viral without you having to be ever present. I definitely did not set out to be a social media manager or a community strategist or to even own an agency. It just kind of happened over time. I grew my first Facebook group, Traveling Teachers Community, over a course of 3.5 years, but really it just kind of snowballed in the last 2 years. I ended up selling over $40,000 in travel on a very part-time basis as a tour operator, trip leader, and travel agent. I took some of those strategies and tactics that I was using with that Facebook group, and I started building other communities in different niches. One, it was just kind of fun to experiment and see what worked. But two, I also wanted to see, was I just lucky or did I actually crack on to something? And I actually started seeing that there were a few things that every successful group was doing. And essentially, it boils down to creating a community. Now, I feel like this term can be overused a lot, but I think it's important for you to know that I really believe that building a community is so much more powerful than just growing an audience. When you build a community, when you have a group of people who rally around a certain mission or shared cause, or a shared vision, or even just a shared interest, there's so much more buy-in. They're members of something. They're a part of something bigger and larger than themselves. And in fact, it gets to a point where whatever it is that you're doing and you're sharing with the world is larger than you and your business. And that is super powerful. That can really expand your impact. That enables you to start movements, and it enables you to amplify whatever message you have to share because other people agree and they're willing to share that message on their platforms as well. That's also a way that you can help your content get seen by more people and even have posts and content go viral by making something that resonates with your core community. Now, since building that first community and group and business, I have learned so much more. So now every subsequent group I've created either for myself or for my clients or even just for friends as they were growing their businesses has started off so much more smoothly and quickly because I know what works. I've got the strategy down, I know the tactics, and I am constantly educating myself of what's going on in the world of social media and social media marketing. But I know that if you're here, that's probably not something you're super interested in. I bet that if you had it your way, you would just sit in your awesome home office, you would create resources all day, and you would design things, and you would never have to talk to anybody, and you would never have to put your face on a social media post or make a reel or a TikTok ever again. Am I right? Hopefully it gets to a point where it's more enjoyable and maybe you even disagree with me and think, no, it's actually pretty fun. But I'm gonna guess that if you think it's fun, then yes, of course, you can learn from me, you can learn some more tips, and I'll be bringing some other awesome people on here to share their experience and expertise and knowledge as well with you. That's really the first part of it. If it's not fun for you, it's gonna be something that you continue to resist and go against. Now, I can't help what you feel about it, but my hope is that by sharing a few different mindset tips and things I've learned along the way, out of all the random things I do, I also happen to be a certified life coach. I know, right? So many things. But that's actually helped a lot because a lot of the stuff, when it comes down to it for social media marketing, is a lot of people don't post out of fear of what other people will think or just what they think about themselves or what they think being successful means or what they think they'll have to do or become to be successful. For the first 2 years of my travel business, I didn't use Instagram, and I was convinced that the only way I could be successful on Instagram is if I was super quote unquote hot, young, pretty, and thin. And that's so terrible. I mean, there's so many things we could say about women in social media and in business and how we feel like we have to raise to these high standards of appearance. But here's the deal. I found out that's not true at all. You can absolutely be your full, authentic self. I know what is authentic. That's a whole episode in itself. But you can truly show up and be 100% of yourself 100% of the time. And you will have a community of people who love you, who rally around you and what you say, who truly align with your values and beliefs when it comes to whatever it is you're doing and selling and in whatever way that you're serving your people. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, if you know that you're the kind of person who you are just not here to make another job for yourself, you're not just here to make money. Yes, you want to make more money, of course, but you want to make more money and you want to make a difference, then you're probably in the right place. But let's just make sure. This podcast is not for teachers or for anyone who just wants to get rich quickly. There are so many promises in the online space, and I would even say in the teacherpreneur space, that just aren't completely true. Even the idea of passive income is something I've wrestled with, especially in the teachers pay teachers world. Is there truly any passive income, or is it just a result of the compound effect? That's another really awesome episode for another time, talking about the compound effect. So much we can learn there. But if you know that building and creating a community is going to take a little bit of work. It's going to take some time at first. It's going to take making yourself a bit uncomfortable and being willing to do things that maybe you wouldn't usually do, to put yourself out there to help the people who really need what you have to offer. If that's you, if you're willing to be that person for other people, then I am happy to show up and share what I know about social media, business, and marketing and mindset stuff with you so that you can do that better. And I am happy to bring the people on to help me do that and help you do that. Now, what can you expect from this podcast? As of when I'm recording this, I am still a full-time teacher, albeit for only a little bit more time because I did put in my resignation, which is super exciting time in my life. But because I know this next year and next 2 years, especially, is just going to be really busy as I honestly recover, as I look into other opportunities, and as I grow my business, I don't want to commit to weekly episodes because I would hate to disappoint you. And I want to be also modeling that you don't have to be online all the time, right? That's the whole point of my brand, is to show you how you can create a community around those ideas and causes so you don't have to be online. And so I'm going to be modeling that with this podcast. So you can expect seasonal batches of episodes, 5 to 10 episodes at a time, and I might drip them out so that they come out weekly, so that way you're not tempted to binge them all at once. I know I often do that, but we always get the most out of podcasts when we listen and then implement. Listen and then implement. So you can expect them to come out in batches and maybe dripped weekly, and that each episode will have a call to action. And not just a call to action like, hey, come download this freebie and join my email list, but something practical for you to actually go and do. Because if you know me, you know I am super committed to the idea of taking action, and that action brings clarity. I really consider myself more of an act first, think later person, and sometimes that has disadvantages. But when it comes to experimentation and networking and connecting, it's really proved to be fruitful for me. I really truly think that creating a community on social media can help you in just about any niche. I've used the same strategies and tactics that I'm going to share with you to rise to the top 3% of my network marketing company. I've used it to sell tens and thousands of dollars in travel during a pandemic, which is really wild. And I've used it to sell hundreds of dollars each month in resources on Teachers Pay Teachers. So I know that this will work for you, and I know there are other sellers who are making four-figure incomes just from their Facebook groups. So I just want to clarify that what I'm going to be sharing on this podcast is really going to be specific to sharing digital products, courses, memberships, one-on-one done-for-you services and tutoring, and group programs. I'm not going to go so much into high-ticket coaching or to the actual act of providing a service, but rather how we can position ourselves as experts in those things, as the authority in the niche that we're looking to serve people in, and how we can basically build sales funnels with our social media tools. That's the strategy part of it. But more importantly, how we can actually help people feel welcomed and part of something without us necessarily having to be there doing all the things all the time. And this might be a bigger challenge for you. Get to the point where you can actually start to automate, delegate, and eliminate things. Automate everything that can be scheduled and just make it easier for you. To eliminate tasks you really don't even need to be doing in your business. Sometimes we just make it so much more complicated than we have to for ourselves. And then finally, delegating. We have to talk about it. We have to talk about outsourcing on this show. We have to talk about hiring independent contractors, the do's and don'ts. We have to talk about when is it worth it to get a social media manager, and how do you know when you're ready for one? What does a social media manager even do? What's the difference between a social media manager and a social media strategist? We're going to cover all of that and more on the Social Media Magic podcast. So thank you so much for taking a chance on this episode. I hope it's given you something to think about. Here is your call to action for today. I want you to go look at whether it's an Instagram profile or a Facebook personal profile. If you haven't been showing up on either of those, then I'm going to challenge you to look at both of them. But if you've really been showing up on one, I want you to go with fresh eyes and look at it and think, if I was some stranger looking at this, would I think that this person could help them? So look at everything from a stranger's perspective. And if you're really brave, you can take a screenshot of your Instagram profile or your Facebook personal profile, share it on your stories, and ask for people to tell you. You could have a little question sticker that says, what would you think about me if you saw my profile for the first time? Or what do you think I'm an expert in based on what I share? That could be really, really telling for you. And I think that the quicker we can get to talking to our audience, and not just talking to them, but actually listening to what they say and kind of reading between the lines of what they say, the better our messaging is going to be, the more compelling our content's going to be, and the more likely that what we do and what we share will convert and result in more sales, which is the ultimate goal. So that is it for this first pilot episode of the Social Media Magic podcast. I would love to hear what you think. If you're not already following me on Instagram, let's be friends over there. It's just my name, Brittany Verlenich. That's BritTanyVerlenich. I know it's so long. Can't really shorten my name, but feel free to find me on Instagram. Of course, I have all kinds of goodies and other content for you in the show notes as well, which will take you to my website. So be sure to check on that if you're not driving and if you're somewhere safe to do that. Otherwise, I look forward to chatting with you on Instagram, and we'll see you next time.